Hey, what's up, guys? So today I want to show you some antique dolls, and I want to show you two different kinds of antique dolls. Both of these antique dolls were made anywhere between the 1890s to about 1900, but I'm going to actually guesstimate their age to be around the 1890s. And so we have two different German dolls made by two different makers that were very prolific in the doll making business. And the one on the left is made by Armand Marseille. And Armand Marseille made very, very affordable dolls, mostly imported to America. And this is a J.D. Kestner doll. And this was more of a luxury doll, although very affordable, compared to most French dolls that were being sold around the same time. So we have two different kinds of dolls, although they're bisque head dolls. And a bisque head doll is a doll made with porcelain, and it's like a biscuit, meaning that it's like unglazed. So you can see that here. And okay, so the two different kinds of dolls here are by their body type. And the one on the left has a jointed composition body, and you can see that here. And the J.D. Kestner doll on the right has a kid leather body. And by the way, it's leaking a little sawdust. These dolls with the kid leather bodies were actually made, and I see the problem right here, the knee. She has a blown knee, and I can actually fix that. You can see like the spot where the sawdust is leaking, and that's like right around there. I don't know if you could see that, but that's where we sprung our leak. And so a kid leather bodied doll was actually cheaper than a doll that had this feature, which was the jointed composition body. And you can see how much more elaborate the body was. So you can twist the wrists and move the arms up and down into different poses. The head would swivel, and trying to show you that, but I can't really do that right now with one hand and film with the other. So the head would swivel and tilt from side to side. The legs also could be posed, and so you can move her leg in different positions, and you can seat one of these dolls. So it was actually more of a fun doll to play with if you were a child back then, as opposed to a kid leather bodied doll, which really couldn't be, I mean, they could be seated because of these little gussets in the knees. It had like a little hinge, and you can see like the little cutout, so you can bend the legs. But the arms couldn't be posed; it would just dangle down. And the arms were made out of bisque, as you can see here, and the rest of the body from the shoulder area, because the head and the shoulder was in one piece, and was attached to the leather body, which was from here to about here, all the way down to her feet. So there you go. So I wanted to show you, look at these original shoes. Now, you don't generally see these antique dolls coming in their original outfits. And these two are a rare example of these dolls from the 1890s coming in their original clothes. Now, there was a trend that went on in the 1960s and 1970s that people would take their old clothes from the dolls, the original clothing, and they would actually discard them and throw them away. And they would place these dolls in dresses made out of polyester and man-made fabrics. It was really awful. And sadly, most of the original outfits are now gone in dumpsters, long rotted away. And the original clothing, you'll never see things like this ever again. So that's quite sad. So this particular one over here was, again, made by Armand Marseille. And it's their 1894 model number. They had different model numbers for each doll. By the way, I'm being eaten alive by mosquitoes as we speak. So her original dress is got its original flower pattern, which is really beautiful. She has her original hat. The wig actually is a replacement made out of mohair, which I think was made out of like a lamb or a goat. You know, they shaved the coat and they turned it into a wig for these dolls. Now that's another thing, when these dolls were made, human hair, they used to actually make the wigs out of human hair or mohair. And the human hair ones that came from people that sold their hair to the doll factories to make wigs was more expensive, as opposed to this, which was easier to get. So that's quite interesting. So she has glass eyes, the Armand Marseille 1894 model, that open and close and sleep. And there was a little lead weight attached to the inside of the eye mechanism. And when you tilt the doll back, the eyes would close. And when you stood the doll back up again, the eyes would open. And it creeps a lot of people out. Now, the dolls sometimes had a closed mouth, like this one over here, without inserted teeth like this one. The actual dolls that had the closed mouths were cheaper to make, but for the collector market, people are always looking for the dolls with the closed mouth, without the opening and without the teeth. Those dolls were made for a shorter period of time, the ones with the closed mouths, so they're rarer to find. So on today's market, they're more expensive, they're more valuable. So yeah, so she has a hand-painted face with the little inserted teeth. She has the sleep eyes. Now, some of these dolls were painted since they were made. It was more of a quantity instead of quality type of deal. So people would hastily paint these in the factories, and you'll see like more elaborate painting on more expensive dolls. Like look at the Kestner's eyebrows and how they're feathered and really expertly modeled and painted, as opposed to our Armand Marseille, which they churned these out by the millions, and they didn't have time to put like all the details in the eyebrows, and it was just a one stroke painting effect. By the way, I wanted to show you her original shoes, which are quite cool. They have buckles on them, and they're in really, really good shape. She has her original undergarments underneath, her original socks, which is really quite amazing. I'll show you the side view, and you can see how cool she is. And again, look at that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful original dress, which you don't see anymore. Okay, let's go to our Kestner doll. Kestner dolls actually were more expensive than the Armand Marseille dolls. Kestner also did market to the poorer and middle class people as well, but their dolls were always, there was always a better quality to their face painting than, say, Armand Marseille dolls, which were sometimes more modeled, more hastily painted in a fast fashion just to make as many as they could. Armand Marseille actually took pride in their quality of their painting and of the makeup of the doll. Now, her dress is original, which is quite pretty. Look at the workmanship on that. And she comes with her original crucifix. Some of these dolls came already dressed, and they would come with like a little necklace with a little pendant, which is quite pretty to see. A lot of times too, these dolls came undressed, so they were sold naked, and the parent of the child that got the toy would make an outfit for it, or if they had a nanny or they had a maid, they would make a dress for the child, or the child would actually learn how to sew and make their own dress. So that's interesting. Now this Kestner doll, circa 1890, actually is known as their open closed mouth version. And teeth were not inserted in it, but you see a little white spot painted to emanate teeth, and that's interesting. Now her eyes sleep as well, and they're beautiful blown glass eyes. Look at the quality of the spiral threading on the glass eyes. Really, really quite spectacular, as opposed to the Armand Marseilles, which aren't as beautiful. Her wig is not original to her. It's a replacement mohair wig, which is something that I found on eBay. Look at the little ears. Look how cool they are. Some of these dolls, well, mostly French dolls, would have pierced ears, and the dolls could actually wear earrings. Sometimes the German dolls would have little piercings, so a little girl could put earrings in the doll. So that's quite interesting. I just wanted to show you. Now this one doesn't have a mold number. Usually Kestner dolls, as well as all the other German doll makers, would have a mold number, and each mold number was a specific style of doll. This one just has a letter on the back of the head, and that's known as their Alphabet series dolls, which were earlier than the later ones that came with mold numbers, which is quite interesting. So I thought I'd show you two different German dolls today, and different body constructions, different clothing that they came with, and different looks to them. And I wanted to show you the difference between the two makers and the quality. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all soon. So long.